Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Izuku has an evolved version of One for All, Deku x Momo, part 2. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, Ultimate Dankness 112, link is in the description, also subscribe to our channel, and like this video, so let's begin the video. Outside UA Gate. So this is it. My path to becoming a legendary hero starts today, Izuku said to himself. Welp, no use standing outside. Izuku was fast pacing through the hallways, looking for Class 1 when he was stopped by a present Mick and Eraserhead. Yogi Eraserhead called out. Hello Eraserhead, sir. I didn't know that you were teaching here. Top secret and things like that. Anyway, the teachers want to have a talk with you in the staff room, Eraserhead said in a monotone voice. Calm down Izuku, just tell them casually. Okay, but can I ask you something? Sure. Will All Might be present there? No, he will reach by 10. Good, this will be easier than I thought. In the staff room. The old nervous Izuku was back as he walked into the room. As soon as he entered, he saw that the principal was also present there and all the teachers' eyes fell on him, making him blush again because although he could handle being in the attention of teachers and students during speeches, being the center of attention of many pro heroes was something else. So this is All Might's and Titan's son Vlad commented. Now that I see him up close, he does look like Inko, and Toshinori Nezu said. This made Izuku groan a little, as he was known for being All Might's and Titan's and not his own person. So, Izuku Nezu began. You could have gotten into UA through recommendations, but you decided to give the entrance exam. Was it to prove something to your parents, he asked. No sir. Getting to UA was my one goal. It was not to prove something, Izuku answered. But you could have joined through recommendations, seeing who your father is. What was your motivation, he commented. There was no other motivation, I had to get into UA and the entrance was the only way. But the statement was a lie since he could have easily gotten through recommendations if he just showed his graduation certificate from Rheinmetall, but he wanted to be fair and give everyone a chance. He didn't want to rob someone of their seat. As for the other question, we had a falling out, or rather I had a falling out with him. Falling out? Everyone raised an eyebrow. Yeah. And was All Might recommending someone else the reason for the quarrel? Nezu asked, thinking that Izuku was one of those spoiled kids who would throw a temper tantrum if they didn't get what they wanted. No, I didn't even know that my parents were pro heroes until 11 months ago and haven't talked to them since then. Now the teachers were even more confused. But were impressed as Izuku developed a selfless trait without him knowing who his parents were. No, the reason is he hesitated. I think it would be better if you asked him. Anyways, I think I should go to class, I want to know who my classmates are. Very well, thank you for your time, but you could have also gotten admission just by showing your graduation certificate from Rheinmetall. Why didn't you do that? Same reason, but before I go, I have a request to make to all the teachers. And what may that be, Nezu inquired. Please don't call me All Might's son in front of any students because firstly, I hate attention, and secondly, I want to be known as Izuku Yagi or by my hero name, not as All Might's son or Titan's son. This fully impressed all the teachers, as anyone else would love the attention and boast about who their parents were after finding out this late. Little did they know that Izuku found out about his parents in the worst way possible. After Izuku left, Eraserhead explained to the teachers about his force quirk activation and how his quirk was not meant to show up this early. And so the principal, because of his high specs, concluded that Izuku had an evolved version of Ofa, but that still didn't explain how he was able to heal his arm so quickly. Wana Izuku was running through the hallways looking for Class 1 when he finally found it. There it is. Whoa, I think they made it for students with gigantification quirks. Speaking of which, I wonder what their quirks are. I mean, they have to be good considering most of them got in through the exams, Izuku said to himself and opened the door halfway. Take your feet off of that desk now. That's Iida. DCH. And that's Ego Tantrum, figures, of course he would be in 1A. It's the first day, and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, Iida scolded, much to the disinterest of Bakugo. Speaking of which. You're kidding me, right? Your old school put a stick up your ass, or were you born with it? Izuku's sweat dropped. Hey, let's start over, I'm Tenya Iida from Samei Private Academy, Iida clarified, as he did the hand thing. Samei, huh, so you must think that you're better than me. I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one. You're threatening me? A classmate? Are you sure you're in the right place? Then Izuku entered the class and got most of the attention directed to him. It's him, Iida spoke first. Whoa, that's the guy who destroyed the 0-pointer. Yeah, I heard he got the most points out of all the examinees. Yeah, he saved my life. Hello, everyone, Izuku. Greetings. Good morning, Yagi Iida greeted as he mechanically walked to Izuku. Iida was about to say something to Izuku when. Deku? Hold that thought, Izuku whispered to Iida. Oh hey ego tantrum, long time no see. He turned towards Bakugo. How the fuck did you get in? Wait, what did you just call me? Ego tantrum. At this point Bakugo looked like he was about to strangle a tree. And only three things were going through his head. Firstly, how did Izuku get into UA? Secondly, how did Izuku get the guts to talk back to him? And thirdly, how the hell did he become so confident? These thoughts overshadowed the fact that Izuku was now 600 and blonde. You dare talk back to me, you useless trash, I'll fucking destroy you. Are you done throwing your tantrum, ego tantrum? Izuku asked in a bland tone. This earned a couple of laughs from some of the students. Listen up Bakugo. Izuku glared at Bakugo. I don't care that you are better than me or that you want to destroy me. In the coming 3 years, I will beat you in everything and prove to you that I am not the old Deku you pushed over. Why you? Bakugo was reading his fist. And if I were you, I would recommend that you get rid of your old habits, since I heard that this school does not take kindly to that type of behavior and you will be punished no matter who recommended you. TCH Bakugo said as he went back to his seat, still glaring at Izuku. Anyways, now that Ega Tantrum's tantrum is over, what were you about to say, Iida? Yagi, you realized that there was something more to the practical exam, didn't you? Hence why you managed to get the highest score 170, which makes you a more capable student than I am, Iida inquired, still doing the robot hand thing. This got everyone's attention, leaving out Bakugo and a few other students. What do you mean? And last time I checked I got 90 points. Izuku gave a confused look. You didn't know? Know what? There were rescue points being awarded for well rescuing people, that's why you got 80 extra points. Recovery girl told us after you left, Iida informed. What? I seriously had no idea. I did everything out of impulse. That means you risked yourself to save someone. Yes, and I would do it again, no matter what. And although some students were not looking at him, they were taken aback by his words. Incredible. Wow. That's a real man. What no one knew was that the principal was walking by the classroom and heard the entire conversation between Iida and Izuku. Hey, anyway, I don't think that we've been formally introduced. I'm Iida Tenya and I'm from Same Private Academy. I'm Izuku Yagi and I'm from Rheinmetall Advanced Education, Dusseldorf, Germany. This got everyone's attention, even the recommended students, again leaving out Bakugo. And everyone was speechless at what Izuku said next. Rheinmetall. I know that you are a better student than me. It will be an honor and privilege to study and train with you, Yagi. Whoa, slow down Iida, I think you're overthinking it a tad bit more than you should with the honor and privilege thing. That may be so, but why UA? There are many other better options in other countries and the graduation certificate from Rheinmetall is basically a gold recommendation card, so why give the entrance exam? I gave the exam as I wanted it to be fair to other candidates and not rob them of their seat. Moreover, I wanted to earn my place. And secondly, I did think about going to Rheinmetall Heroics, but UA was my childhood goal, so here I am Izuku looking at the other students. And all of you are here too, meaning that you all are my equal, as most of you also gave the exam, and the others got in through recommendations, showing how strong all of you are. All of you could beat me in any class activity or sports. But Izuku has a cocky grin. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna make it easy for you. Then, silence. That's so manly. A red-haired boy with shark-like teeth exclaimed while crying manly tears. Yeah, I know right. A pink-haired and skinned girl shouted in agreement. This guy totally broke the stereotype that super elite students are condescending, patronizing, and spoiled. A guy with blonde hair spoke. Couldn't agree more. A purple-haired girl with audio jacks for earlobes affirmed. Oh man, now all the girls will ignore me. The short guy with grape hair told. And seconds later Izuku was crowded. Hey man, the name's Ejiro Kirishima and what you said there is totally manly. The spiky-haired boy introduced himself. I must agree with our classmate, your small speech has inspired me and I assume many of the students to be the best they can. Iida commented. Good to know. Izuku smiled. As he was talking to Iida, he didn't notice a certain raven-haired, spiky ponytailed student approaching him. He felt a small tap on his shoulder and turned around. I must agree, what you said was very ins. Whatever she was about to say was forgotten when she realized who the boy was. Momo, at first, didn't notice who the boy was because of the hair and height change. Izuku didn't notice her when he looked at the classroom as he was giving his speech. But, as soon as they recognized each other, they just stared for what seemed like an hour before blushing 70 shades of red. SOUAH huh? Izuku tried to look cool and not stutter, but failed. Although he was glad that the girl was also stuttering. Yeah, didn't think I would find you here, Momo stuttered. Awkward, Izuku said after a brief silence. Flashback to 11 months ago, the day of the fateful meeting with Schmidt. God damn it, now that I think about it, I still had some time left, I could have at least eaten a piece of bread. Izuku was walking through the city while looking at the sky. That's my luck, I guess, he said to himself. Then, he tripped on the sidewalk curb while crossing a road. At this point he didn't even try to cover his face, as he just accepted the fact that was going to fall and break his face. He closed his eyes. Yup, just my luck was his thought as he braced himself for the pain, only it never came. Yes, he did fall, but the pain never came, in fact he felt soft pillows on both his cheeks. Izuku slowly opened his eyes and saw a girl with beautiful onyx eyes and raven hair. Both of them just looked at each other before Izuku realized that the pillows were the girl's boobs and the position they were in. Izuku tried to lift himself and move away, but because of the frantic movement, his arms lost grip and he fell again. But this time he felt the pillows on his chest and something warm and soft on his lips. Then he immediately realized what the soft feeling on his lips were and launched himself in the air like a cat does when it sees a cucumber. Izuku then helped the girl get up, then immediately did a 90-degree bow and profusely apologized. I am so sorry. I should have been looking where I was going. Please don't call the police. He heard the girl giggle a little and stood up straight. It's fine, everyone makes mistakes. Both of them just looked at the other's eyes before blushing madly. Sorry, I should be going, I'll be late for school. Yeah, me too, have some business to take care of. With that, the two of them went their separate ways. But Izuku didn't expect my first kiss to go that way. But those onyx eyes. She was beautiful. He thought as he blushed. With Momo. Not how I expected my first kiss to be. Then again those emerald eyes. He was cute. She thought she blushed. Back to reality. After a few more moments of staring, Momo decided to break the silence. I wonder what we'll do today, besides the orientation program, she said, regaining her composure. Then there was some more awkward silence. If the only thing you want to do is talk and make friends, then I recommend you pack your things and go somewhere else. All the students froze, even though Izuku knew whose voice it was. All of them slowly looked down to see what looked like a yellow caterpillar. Something has arrived. All the students standing in the doorway thought. Welcome to UA's hero course, the caterpillar said as he drank a carton of juice in one go. It took all of you 7 seconds to shut up and time is of the essence. The caterpillar said as it stood up and revealed that it was a man in a sleeping bag. Right, I'm your teacher, shouted Izawa, yada yada. Put these on and head outside. Izawa said in a lazy tone and handed everyone their PE uniforms. With All Might, staff room. Long time no see, Toshinori Nezu greeted. Yes sir. It's great to see you too. Now, although you have 7 hours of muscle form time, you don't need to waste it in the staff room. All Might then deflated into his skeleton form. I guess you're right, Skelmite said. By the way, you never told me or any one of your old friends that you had a son. Bleeding, how did you know that? He said while spitting blood. Midnight, Eraserhead and Izawa ran into him in Dagaba Beach a couple of days ago. They immediately said that he looked like you and Inko. But Izuku said something about a falling out. I need to ask them where they found him. Nick will be free after a few minutes. In the meantime, may I ask what the falling out was? Nezu said, waiting to surprise All Might. It was because of us. We never had time to talk to him about his problems, and whenever he wanted to tell us about his treatment at school because of quirklessness, we just shrugged it off as just playground insults, and now, both me and Inko are paying the price, Toshinori said in a sad tone. And I guess he overheard my and Bakigu's conversation. You and Inko should have known better. I know we messed up bad. What are you going to do now? Nezu asked. Find where he's living and try and make it up to him, no matter what. Do you mean Toshinori? Nezu asked. With every fiber of my being, All Might answered, making Nezu smile. Then you'll have 3 years to do it. Huh? What do you mean? Izuku Yagi is here in UA's hero course. What? All Might shouted while throwing up blood. Calm down, Toshinori. I'll show you. Nezu then showed All Might the exam video, and the only thing that All Might thought was he should have been the one. And to rub salt in the wound, Nezu told him about the conversation he overheard between Izuku and Iida. Nezu also told him about Izuku's forced quirk activation and how it got activated, reminding All Might of that day. He also told All Might about his theory that Izuku's quirk is an involved version of Ofa, but was still unsure how Izuku was able to heal his arm. All Might also concluded that the hair color change was because of the quirk activation. A few things are still a mystery though, like what he stockpiles, if it even is stockpile quirk, or can he pass it down. The biggest mystery is how he is able to heal himself. Yes, but I need to observe and feel the power myself before I can come to a conclusion, All Might said, wanting to see his son more than the quirk. He's in 1A with Izawa. And if I'm not mistaken, his first class usually consists of a quirk assessment test. I recommend that you hide behind the storage house. I shall also be present to observe the quirk. All Might nodded. With 1A. But what about the introduction program? The girl named Uraraka asked Eraserhead. You're in the hero course, you have no time to waste on those stupid ceremonies. So, let's start. Bakugo, what was your farthest ball throw in junior high? 67 meters, Bakugo answered. Then the class was interrupted by a small mouse-like animal dressed in a three-piece suit. It's the principal. Many of the students exclaimed. Well, Izawa, you're doing the usual quirk assessment test for the first years. I hope you're not threatening them with expulsion or actually thinking about expelling them. Threatening them with expulsion. Actual expulsion. All the students' sweat dropped. No sir, Izawa said, looking at the students with a shit-eating grin. I shall also assess their quirks this time. The whole class sweat dropped. But Izawa knew whose quirk the principal wanted to see. Should I have to make a good first impression? I should stick with 40% and not worry about breaking any bones instead of 70%, Izuku thought. Now Bakugo, step into the ring, then use your quirk to throw the ball. Bakugo obeyed. I'll just add an explosion. He reared his arm and threw the ball with an explosion powering it. He shouted. I guess he's still the same. Izawa was looking at the screen and then showed it to the students. 721 meters. I should also remind you that at UA you will be pushed to your absolute limits and your life will be total hell. Izawa grinned, lifting some hair off of his face. Let the games begin. Nezu said with enthusiasm. Throughout the assessment test, many students showed their strengths and their weaknesses, leaving out one student, Izuku Yagi. It was as if he had no weakness. Some students even speculated that he had some type of an adaptation quirk. Some of the teachers who had free periods also came out to see the test, especially Izuku's. That prompted All Might, who was both impressed and happy by the results of his son, to come out of his hiding spot. Every other student was excited to see All Might, but Izuku completely ignored him, much to All Might's grief. All in all, Izuku crushed the competition. Getting the highest score in everything, like 1.90 second the 50m-900 units in the grip test, and so on and so forth. Then Izawa showed the scores one more time before moving into the ball throw. Man, Yagi, I think the scores disprove that we are all equal. The boy named Sato said. I disagree. Didn't I tell you that I won't make it easy for any of you to beat me? I guess, Sato muttered. Yagi, Izawa called out. It's the final test for the day, step inside the circle and throw the ball. Izuku went inside the circle, he picked up the ball and thought of an idea. Sensei, this is the last test, isn't it? He asked. Yes. So can I go beyond, plus ultra, and use my full power? This intrigued all the teachers present there, including All Might, but shocked all the other students. Full power, all the students shouted in unison. Yeah, Izuku stated. Yagi, then how much were you using up until now? It was Momo who asked the question this time. Both of them looked at each other, blushed a little, much to the confusion of the teachers and students, then after forming the words in his brain, Izuku answered. 40%. But the students screamed again. Are you done with the screaming? We're wasting time, and I need some sleep, Izawa said, as he activated his quirk to look scary. Here goes. Izuku activated SS, his body began to glow, and directed everything to his right arm, and just as he was about to throw the ball. Wait, it was Izawa that interrupted him this time. Izawa, didn't you just say that the students are wasting time, now you're the one who's doing it, Midnight teased. That might be so, but I don't want to be thrown around like a crash test dummy. He said, as he tied himself and the principal to the nearest flagpole. Both Mick and Midnight knew what he meant and also tied themselves to the flagpole using Izawa's scarf. At this point, all of the teachers were at the field due to recess period and were confused at what the three were doing but didn't know that they were gonna find out very soon. Heck, even the principal didn't know what Izawa was doing. Izawa only said trust me and nothing more to Nezu. Yagi, you're good to go. Izuku activated SS again and directed everything to his right arm and threw the ball with everything he had. The students and the teachers were immediately thrown back 25 feet. The shock wave was so great that the students in the school building also felt it. Then came the air and it pushed all the students and teachers into the fence, which seemed to be barely holding on due to the air and the extra weight pushing on it. The air pressure also made it difficult for them to breathe. Even the 4 teachers who were tied to the pole were flung up, although they were not thrown back. By the end, only All Might was standing. The dust settled to reveal Izuku, with his right hand damaged. The white circle surrounding him had turned into an oval-shaped moat. Even Bakugo was speechless, but filled with rage. He tried running towards Izuku, but was stopped by Izawa's scarf. A few minutes later the students and teachers had recovered and started talking amongst themselves about what just happened. Yagi, you should immediately go to recovery girl and get your hand healed. All Might said with concern in this voice. That wouldn't be necessary. Izuku immediately directed everything to his torso, and much to everyone's shock, his hand began to glow, and seconds later, it had fully healed. Then All Might remembered that Nezu said that Izuku's quirk, whatever it was, had healing abilities. Izawa-sensei, how far did the ball go? Izuku asked. Izawa took out the measurement and saw the result with wide eye. 25.17 kilometers. Everyone was silent. Hey, alright, wanna head back to your class and get ready for the next subject, Nezu spoke up. The students changed back to their school uniform and went back to their class where Izuku realized that he still hadn't picked a seat. And since all the other seats had been taken, Izuku had no choice but to go to the only seat available next to Momo. Oh, great, improv lessons won't help me here, although she is beautiful, Izuku thought, blushing. Oh come, how the heck can I deal with the awkwardness with him sitting next to me, but then again he is handsome, Momo thought, blushing. The rest of the class went normally and most of the students found it boring, leaving out Momo, Izuku, and Iida. Then school got over and the pink girl, Mina, came up with an idea. Hey everyone, I have an idea, let's go to my house for a small party to get to know each other properly. Nearly all the students agreed, leaving out Bakugo and Todoroki as they went home early. The remaining 18 students were walking out of the school campus when they noticed 2 limousines with 2 escorts, each parked on the opposite side of the gate. Izuku and Momo immediately frowned after seeing the cars. So much for the house party, they said in unison, surprising themselves and their friends. Well, Ishido, I guess I won't be able to attend the party, important things to do. Izuku said sadly as he remembered he had a board meeting. Same here, added Momo. Anyway, good night and see you tomorrow, Momo said. Same here, Izuku unconsciously mimicked Momo's words, which made them blush again. After which they went to their respective limos. What's with those two? No idea. Izuku's house, the next morning. Izuku was absorbing solar radiation while trying to figure out what directing raw solar energy, which he discovered he could do during the 7th month of his training, to his arms or legs did, but aside from glowing, it did nothing. In fact, it created a severe disadvantage. Izuku directed the raw radiation to his arms or legs and tried to punch, kick, walk, and run using it, but all it did was throw him off balance. No practical use of directing raw energy other than ruining my balance. The only thing that the ability or disability is useful is if ever I need to be a human torch. Or if I want to become a here I am. Attack me. Signal during stealth missions. Izuku quickly realized what he said as he recorded the voice log. Correcting this ability does have a good use. I can use the light produced to send out and so signal if I'm exhausted and or severely wounded and unable to fight. I don't think it takes any stamina to make my body light up. Izuku turned off his audio logbook. Keeping a logbook was actually suggested by Werner. He said that it is always important to note down one's strengths and weaknesses and review them later to improve them. Izuku looked at the time and decided that it would be better to start from home early as he had some things to take care of in the office. Izuku also notified his driver that he didn't have to pick him up after school and that he would walk back home. After signing a few documents, Izuku looked at his watch, the same watch that Schmidt gifted him, and saw that he still had some time left and decided that he would go on foot. Izuku took a right turn towards UA when he recognized the sidewalk he was standing on. Izuku let go of an audible sigh. It's a miracle that nobody saw what happened. I need to talk to her more to make it less awkward. Wait, what if it makes it even more awkward? No, I need to at least try to talk to her more casually, but will she treat me casually? And why am I matching words? UA. Izuku entered his classroom and took his seat. A few moments later Momo entered the class and took her seat next to Izuku. Now is your chance, Izuku, goddammit, say something. Good morning, Yaoi Rozu, Izuku greeted. Really? Good morning. Izuku mentally slapped himself. Huh? Oh. Good morning to you too, Yagi, Momo responded. They stared at each other in silence for a few seconds before Izuku broke the silence. Yaoi Rozu, I have something to ask. Go on. I just want to know if you see me as a pervert. Why did you ask her that? You're making it worse. Why would I think that? Momo gave a confused look. Well, because of the 11 months ago. Oh, that mom said with a laugh. How the two didn't stutter or blush was beyond them. Remember what I told you that day, accidents happen, Momo smiled. Besides, she continued. I think I can tell who is a pervert just by looking at them, she said, pointing at Mineta. I guess. Izuku smiled in return. What do you think we'll do today? Izuku asked. I think most of the day we'll have normal classes, considering that the books we received were English, history, etc., etc. we'll probably also have heroics class. Heroics class, eh? All Might Izuku thought. Yup, other than that, I don't think that we'll have anything out of the ordinary. Yagi, someone called out. Izuku and Momo turned to see Ida. The class was also full by now, as all the students had arrived. Oh, good morning, Ida responded. Yes, good morning, Ida greeted me. Did you want to ask me anything? Yes, it's about your quirk actually. What about it? About 2 years ago, my brother was on a rescue mission with All Might. The mission was a success, and when I asked how it felt fighting evil alongside the symbol of peace, my brother said that All Might had this ability to inspire. Moreover, he described the change in air pressure and shock waves All Might exerts when he fights in great detail to me. And you're saying this because? Izuku realized what Ida was going to ask. He's onto me. There are similarities between both of you. Like your ability to inspire and the nature of your quirk. This got the class interested. I just wanted to ask if you're his son or if you and All Might are related somehow. Izuku was desperately trying to find an excuse. Now that you've mentioned it, both of them also have the same hair color, Momo said. Yesterday too. When All Might was observing our quirks, one of us were excited with the exception of Yagi. Ishido added. It's like Yagi knows him personally. Kiro, the frog-like girl named Asui, correction, Tsuyu said. Yeah, that too, Siro agreed. Think Izuku think. Everyone was looking at him in anticipation. That's it. They know All Might, but not Toshinori Yagi. Well, first things first, whatever I said yesterday was my honest opinion. I was surprised when Ida said that he was inspired. Secondly, quirks can be similar without being hereditary, for example, telekinetic quirks are very common. Thirdly, me being calm and not excited was a part of my training. And lastly, my dad's name is Toshinori Yagi. He's a businessman who works in Tokyo. Wait, I'll show you his picture. Izuku took out his phone, opened Facebook, and went to his father's account and showed them his pictures, Skullmite. Oh man, I thought we were on to something, Ishido remarked in disappointment. I know, right, Kaminari agreed. Of course Deku is not All Might's son, the heck were you all thinking, Bakugo called out, but the class simply ignored him. Yagi, why does your father look so frail and sickly? Ida asked with a hint of concern. Oh, that he was in a car accident a couple of years ago, Izuku informed me with disinterest. He must be a great man to raise you like this. I must meet him someday, Ida said with his right arm on his left chest. Oh, trust me, you'll meet him very soon. Although something I must clarify, my dad or mom had no part in making me who I am now. The class was confused. Then, who? Momo asked with curiosity. It was my mentor. Izuku's face lifted up. Adelbert Schmidt, he said proudly. What? The class screamed, even Bakugo. But Todoroki just looked surprised. You can't be serious. Ida questioned. I am. Wait, I'll show you some photos. Izuku proceeded to show many photos of him and Schmidt. No way. The class said in unison, leaving out Todoroki as he was interested but didn't want to show it, and Bakugo. He looked like was about to murder a rabbit. Yes way. He gave me more motivation and inspiration in the 2 weeks that I knew him than my parents could in 10 years. He was a great teacher that anyone would be lucky to have. Deku, how the hell did you know him, you useless piece of trash? Bakugo was stomping over to Izuku's seat when that useless piece of trash beat you in every activity from yesterday's test. Now get back to your seats, all of you, and take out your books, Aizawa said as he walked into the classroom. Aizawa had learned why Izuku left his parents from the principal and felt sorry for what the boy went through for 10 years. He didn't answer the question, thought a certain dual hair-colored student. The rest of the morning periods went as usual. Then they had lunch and it was finally time. Hero basic training. Everyone was sitting in their places talking to each other when the door opened. I am. Everyone gasped, their faces lifted up, leaving out 3 students. One because of his father, the other because he knew about it, and the last one because of indifference. Humming through the door like a hero. I can't believe he's our hero basics teacher. This year is going to be awesome. Hey look, isn't that his Silver Age costume? I'm getting goosebumps, it's so retro. Welcome to the most important class at UA High. Think of it as Heroine 101. Here you learn the basics of being a pro and what it means to fight in the name of good. Let's get into it. Today's lesson. All Might presented a card with battle written on it. Height training, Bakugo said with a sinister glee. But first, one of the key things of being a hero is. All Might enthusiastically pointed to the wall, from which shelves with numbered cases came out. Looking good. These were designed for you based on your quirk registration forms and the request you sent in before your school started. The class was in an immediate uproar. Whoa-ho. Yeah. Finally. Get yourself suited up and meet me at training ground beta. Yes sir. Most of the class said in unison. Then All Might left the class and everyone took their costumes and headed for the changing rooms, excluding Izuku. Yagi, where's your costume? Kirishima asked. It's on the way, I'll wait for it in front of the gate. Okay man, don't be late. I won't, Izuku replied, walking towards the exit. Training ground beta. All Might was standing outside of the entrance and was waiting for the students to come out. A few moments later, they started exiting the dark tunnel entrance. Then after entering they started to compliment or talk about their hero costumes. Is everyone here? No sir, Yagi is still in the changing room, Ida informed All Might. Why is he taking so long? He was waiting for his costume to arrive. Apparently it was made elsewhere, Kirishima said. Then they heard footsteps coming from the entrance, but were unable to see who it was. I think it's Yagi, Momo commented. The footsteps were nearing the entrance when it stopped. The students were a little confused until they saw an A light up with 2 orbs on either side. Then Izuku walked out, revealing himself to everyone. All the students and even All Might could only be awed at how majestic Izuku looked in his hero costume with its white and gold color scheme and the cape flowing due to the breeze. What intrigued them even more was the glowing A and what it meant. The students were looking back and forth between Izuku and All Might, all the while thinking one thing. They look so similar. But All Might felt he was looking at a younger version of himself. They also felt the air shift with his every movement as he had activated 6x 20% SS. Think of the Godfall Superman costume, but with a gold and white color format and an A instead of S which glows when he activates his quirk. That's a costume and a half. Kaminari exclaimed. That costume is so manly, Kirishima half shouted. It looks so, Ishido said. As Izuku was being complimented by his classmates, he noticed Momo and her outfit and immediately turned into a tomato. If the accident didn't happen then they wouldn't have this affected. Why is she wearing that? I thought I could talk to her casually, but now I think I won't be able. Oh great, we made eye contact and she blushing. Wait, I'm blushing too. Yagi, why are you red all of a sudden? Oh, it's nothing. Should I need to talk to her to end the awkwardness, maybe about her quirk or something? He walked towards Yaoi Rozu, who was talking to Jiru and Uraraka to distract herself. Why Yaoi Rozu? She turned her head to face Izuku. Why yes. I never got to ask you what your quirk is, he said. Oh, it's called creation. I can make anything from my body as long as it's inorganic and I know its molecular structure. That is an amazing quirk. It's extremely versatile. You can save thousands of people using your quirk. Really? Yeah, for instance you can make bandages and ointments for injured people. Or make things like grenades when you have to fight. You must study a lot if you have to remember the molecular structure of the things. Yes, I do a lot. I have been ever since I was 7, Momo said, her blush almost gone. Since you were 7, that's amazing, Izuku complimented me. Yeah, it's also the reason why my hero outfit is skimpy. When I make things, they come out of my body and tend to rip my clothes off. I think you look very pretty, and Izuku unconsciously said. So much for making it less awkward. I mean not that you look bad when you wear normal clothing, in fact you look even prettier when wearing your usual dresses. What I mean to say is you're very beautiful and would look good in anything you wear. Momo was looking down, her bangs covering her eyes. No, I don't mean that. No wait, I absolutely meant whatever I said. I didn't want to say it out loud, please forget that I opened my mouth. Thank you, Momo said as she lifted her face up and looked directly into Izuku's eyes and gave him a 1,000,000-watt smile. That smile made Izuku's heart skip a beat. Why, you're welcome. The hell was that? Why did my heart do that? Alright everyone, come here, All Might called out. Now that you are ready, it's time for combat training. Sir, the student in white armor lifted his hand. Iida's armor looks so cool, it's very similar to his brother's, Izuku thought. This is the fake city from the entrance exam, does it mean that we'll be conducting urban battles again? Iida asked. Not quite, I'm going to move you 2 steps ahead. Most of the villain fights you see on the news take place outside, however statistically speaking, run-ins with most dastardly evildoers take place in the indoors. Think about it, backroom deals, home invasions, secret underground lairs. Truly intelligent criminals stay hidden in the shadows. But this training exercise, you'll be split into teams of good guys and bad guys and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles. Isn't this a little bit advanced? Sayu asked. The best training is what you get on the battlefield, but remember you can't just punch a robot this time, you're dealing with actual people now. Sir, will you be the one to decide who wins? Momo inquired. How much will we be able to hurt the other team? Do we need to worry about the losers getting any punishment? Will you be splitting us up based on chance or comparative skill? Isn't this cape dazzling? KK, I wasn't finished talking. Listen up, the situation is this. The villains have hidden a nuclear missile somewhere in their hideout. The heroes must try to foil their plans. To do that, the good guys will either have to catch the villains or retrieve the D-Day device. Likewise, the bad guys succeed if they protect the payload or capture the heroes. Sounds like a classic action movie setup, everyone thought. Time is limited and we will choose teams by drawing lots. Isn't there a better way? Iida questioned. Think about it, Izuku stopped Iida. Pros sometimes have to team up with heroes from other agencies, so this Lodo method of choosing teams is not bad after all. Yes, I see life as a random series of events. Excuse my rudeness, Iida did a 90-degree bow. No sweat, let's draw. The students proceeded to form into 10 teams. Team A. Izuku and Momo. Team B. Mizo and Shoto. Team C. Uraraka and Mineta. Team D. Bakugo and Tanaya. Team E. Mina and Yuga. Team F. Koji and Rikido. Team G. Haminari and Jiru. Team H. Tokoyami and Tsuyu. Team I. Bajiro and Toru. Team J. Panta and Ijiro. Wow, the chances of being on the same team, Izuku thought to himself. I declare the first 2 teams to fight. All Might pulled out 2 balls from the boxes. These guys. Team A versus Team D. Izuku versus Katsuki, All Might thought. Team A will be the heroes, Team D will be the villains. Everybody else can head to the monitoring room to watch. Yes, sir. The rest of the students said in unison. As Izuku was going to Momo, he felt a glare on his back. He didn't even have to turn to know who it was. Save your glaring for when I defeat you, he said nonchalantly. Bad guys, you could go on in a setup. In 5 minutes, the good guys will be let loose and the battle will start. Young Iida, young Bakugo, the key to being successful in this challenge is to embody villainy. Think from the perspective of an evildoer. If things go too far, I'll step in. All this time Deku's been hiding his quirk from me, and to think he got the nerves to say that he can beat me, I'll show him. He's just a pebble that I can kick out of the way and nothing more. Bakugo glared at Izuku before entering the building. So Yagi, do you have any plans, considering it's your childhood friend we're talking about? I actually do, Izuku said while looking at the building. I know for a fact that Bakugo will stay in the lower floors to come after me. Ever since he was in kindergarten, he would always use brute force. This habit stayed with him till junior high, so I have no doubt that he still uses the same tactics. Izuku then pointed at an entryway at the top of the building. Since we know that Bakugo will not form any sort of battle plan with his teammate and come down looking for me, leaving Iida vulnerable. So what we could do is enter the building from the top, take out Iida, and get the bomb. But what if he does form a plan and decides to stick with his teammate, Momo asked. Then you go for Iida, defeat him, and capture the bomb, which will most likely be kept on the 3rd floor. I'll keep Bakugo occupied till you do that. Your 5 minutes are over, villains, be ready. Heroes, your time starts now. How do we get up there? The building is 5 stories. Izuku without warning put Momo over his shoulder. Other times he would be a stuttering mess and use 30x2% SS on his legs to launch himself and Momo on the roof of the building. See, that wasn't so ha. Smack. Oh, why did you do that? Izuku said, rubbing his head. You could have at least warned me, she said in a dark tone. Izuku was about to say something about time is of the essence, but was quickly silenced by a death glare from Momo and decided that he wanted to live. In the monitoring room. As you can see here, the heroes have formed a plan. Planning and implementation of the plans are crucial for success. Wow, they decided to go the rooftop way to try and surprise the bad guys. Yeah, that's to be expected from 2 of the best students of the class. Villain hideout, 3rd floor. Now how do we find them? I have this special ability called Prida. He was cut off by Momo, signaling him to keep quiet when she heard a voice and followed it to the room with the bomb. And decided to listen to check if Bakugo was present in the room. Bakugo definitely has a villainous side. That's exactly what we need to succeed in this mission. I need to temporarily devote myself to criminal intent. I won't fail this trail and risk bringing shame to the Iida family name. That means I must now embrace evil and become a hero. Behold, I am the personification of villainy. Izuku was about to completely lose it and was about to laugh and give his position away, but was stopped by Momo's hand blocking both of their mouths. A few seconds later they were back in control. When Izuku realized he made a small mistake. Some strategist I am, he thought. So how do we get in without him being able to warn his teammate? I didn't think of that when I was planning. Bakugo must have noticed that something is wrong and will probably come back. Izuku whispered. Don't worry, Momo's hand started to glow. Are those what I think they are? Yup. Iida was talking to himself about being evil when he saw that the door had opened a little. Before he could say anything, 2 small objects rolled towards him from the partially open door, after which. Bang. Iida was both blinded and deafened, and before he knew it, he was pushed down onto the ground and tied with the capture tape. Okay, let's touch the bomb and get this over with. Izuku was about to grab the bomb, but was stopped by Momo. How about we go for perfect mission completion? Go on, I'm listening. In the monitoring room. Wow, they managed to win under 5 minutes. That's crazy, but why aren't they getting the bomb? All Might was also confused, but quickly realized what they were planning. They're going for both of the objectives. In the lair. Bakugo was hurrying up to the 3rd floor as soon as he suspected that Izuku was going through the top. Then he heard the sound of the flashbang which confirmed his suspicion. Bakugo opened the door to see Izuku standing arm's length away from the bomb. That was the moment when he felt loss after all those wins. You fucking piece of trash, all those days you hid your quirk and laughed behind my back, you fucking liar. You talk too much, Yaoi Rozu, do it. Bakugo didn't get any time to react when he felt something pierce his back, and milliseconds after that, he was on the floor. Izuku promptly tied him with the capture tape. Then Momo walked out from behind some boxes holding a stun gun. That was quite a good plan with the stun gun, Izuku said. Thanks, now to get the bomb. Izuku and Momo won, with perfect results. The remaining battles then took place, but none of them were that interesting. Leaving out Todoroki's one. Throughout the period, All Might tried to talk to Izuku, but Izuku responded with grunts and in some cases downright ignored him. Time skip, end of last period. Nearly all the students decided to go home immediately as they were tired from the day's trails. Leaving out Izuku and Momo as they decided to stay behind to help Cementus with some exercise copies. They were returning back from the staff room when they saw Bakugo with his school bag going towards the washroom. Yaoi Rozu, you can head back home, I have something to take care of. Okay, she agreed. Bakugo, Izuku called and he turned around. What nerd do you want? Do you want to rub it in that I lost? I don't want to rub anything in, unlike you. No, I came here to tell you to search for forced quirk activation. Search for what it means, then accuse me of lying or hiding my quirk. Izuku turned around. And don't forget that from today, we are rivals, not friends. Izuku went back to the classroom and was surprised to find Momo still inside. Then Izuku took his backpack and both of them started walking. Thanks for waiting for me. No problem, Momo smiled and Izuku's heart skipped a beat. There it is again, he thought. So, will you go directly home? Momo asked. No, I have to go to the Night's Watch building, located 3 buildings away from the office where Izuku worked. The one near the mall. Yup. I'm also going there, my parents just opened a new hotel and today's the inauguration party. Usually my parents would send an escorted limousine, but I asked them not to because I want to go on foot. Oh, then I can walk you there. Thanks. If you don't mind me asking, why are you going to the Night's Watch office building? No, I don't mind. I wanted to thank them for the costume. They worked really hard on it. Before Schmidt died, he told his workers to help me in any way they can. So I asked them to make a good costume. Speaking of which, what's it made up of, by the way? It didn't look like it was made up of cloth. No, it's actually made up of Kevlar, but each strand of the Kevlar had been dipped in an alloy consisting of pure titanium, tungsten, and osmium. But, shouldn't that be impossible, considering the Kevlar fibers would instantly burn if dipped in molten metal? I thought so too, but someone from their R&D department had a quirk that could turn metals to their liquid form without increasing its temperature. Huh, interesting. Outside the hotel. Thank you for keeping me company, Yagi. No problem, CA. With that they went their separate ways. But both of them were feeling lonely. What's this feeling, Izuku thought. Next morning, Izuku's house. So, I've been having this new development recently. Izuku was recording a voice log as he punched a punching bag. It first started yesterday, after talking to the individual named Momo Yaoi Rozu during our hero training, where I told her that she looks good in anything she wears, not that it was a lie. No, far from it, but I didn't want her to hear it, since I didn't want to make it sound like her body is the only thing good about her. After which, throughout the entire day, nearly every time I saw her smile, my heart did something weird, and for some reason, I really liked the sensation. Moreover, I began to feel lonely after I dropped her off at her parents' hotel. Izuku pondered for a while. Or it could just be my quirk, and everything was a coincidence, because dense Izuku is dense. Whatever it is, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. He stopped the recording. Izuku then took a shower, prepared, and ate his breakfast, and changed into his school uniform. A few moments before he left for school, he got a call from one of the RD Tech developers, requesting him to come to the Night's Watch office because they wanted to demonstrate the upgrades made to the hero suit. I call it suit because it's not just for looks. Much to Izuku's confusion since he thought that the suite was already perfect. Night's Watch office. As soon as Izuku entered the office, he was requested to come to the demonstration room. There he saw his suit along with two people wearing lab coats. I think they are the RD people. Mr. Yagi, nice to meet you, I'm Adam Weller, and this is my brother, Tom Weller. We're both from the American branch of Schmidt's RD department. We're actually the ones that built the suit, Adam greeted. Nice to meet you too, both of you. First things first, I must thank you for making such an amazing suit. It gives me enough protection, as well as being thin enough for me to move quickly and quietly. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Yagi, but there was much more we can do to your suit, Tom spoke. After we sent the suit to Japan, we realized that we could have incorporated many of our existing technologies into it, he said. For instance, we can use our artificial chlorophyll nano-machine technology to absorb, convert, and store energy in your cape, which you can use directly to increase your endurance during long fights by a couple of hours or minutes, depending on how much energy is stored in the cape. It does so by sending the energy through your entire body with the help of nanotubes that run throughout the entire suit. You can access it by tapping the U solar charge, which will be displayed on your left gauntlet, although you'll have to let the cape be in the sun for about 70 minutes every day, at any time of the day. Remember that the cape can hold the energy for 7 hours only before it gets released, Adam explained. On the topic of your left gauntlet, it will have a user interface with a thin, bendable display. The gauntlet can be used to check which part of your body or what organ you have damaged. The nanomachines present in the suit will also monitor your heart rate, blood pressure, and stamina level. The gauntlet can also connect to the internet, call for backup from the nearest Night's Watch headquarters, and also be used to tell the time. The left gauntlet will draw the power from the battery located in the gauntlet itself, which you will be able to charge by using the raw solar energy you can give out, Tom said. At least that ability is not completely useless, Izuku thought. The left gauntlet, however, is a completely different story. If you press the activate shield option on your left gauntlet and then direct the raw solar energy to your right arm, the gauntlet will unfold into a shield made up of a super strong compound that consists of silicone, carbon fibers, and different types of plastics. The compound by itself is brittle and weak, but passes an electric current and the thing becomes super strong. Able to take hits from .50 cal bullets and not be damaged. However, it does have its limitations, as multiple consecutive hits can break the shield, Adam commented. Also, one thing we forgot to mention when we wrote the abilities of the suit is that the suit is also electric shock proof, Tom added. So when will the suit be ready? Izuku asked. We'll be working on it now itself. It will be done by this time tomorrow. Izuku then thanked the two developers and left the building. Then he noticed someone familiar standing across the road, and seeing that person made him happy, God knows why. Aoi Rozu? Izuku called out as he rushed across the road. Momo heard someone call out her name and looked around to see Izuku coming towards her. Hey Yagi. She replied, giving one of her million-watt smiles. The smile almost made Izuku stop in his tracks and clutch his heart, almost. Yup, it's because of her. What is this feeling? Izuku questioned himself in his thoughts. And why do I like this feeling? Good morning, Izuku greeted. Morning, Momo greeted me, still smiling. After a few moments of staring at each other, Momo decided to ask what Izuku was doing here. Didn't expect to meet you here. Yeah, the people from the office called me to show the new upgrades made to my hero suit. As for me, the party lasted a little bit longer than it should have, and we ended up staying at the hotel. Funny how me and my parents were the first customers in our own hotel, Momo said with a small laugh. Izuku only smiled back. Then she saw something that genuinely sent shivers down her spine. Her parents were standing behind Izuku, her father trying to make the stern and strict dad expression, but failing spectacularly, and her mother giving a sly smile. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have discussed it with them, she mentally cursed herself. Last night. The inauguration party was over a little late and Mr. Yaoi Rozu decided to stay at the hotel as it was too late. They took 2 VIP rooms, one for himself and his wife, the other for Momo. As they were about to go to sleep, the parents heard a knock on the door. They opened the door to see their daughter standing outside, fidgeting with her finger. Mother, father, I want to talk to you about something. Well, come on in, Mr. Yaoi Rozu said from the couch. She entered the room and they noticed that Momo looked nervous, which was extremely odd as she is usually very confident and cool-headed. She then sat on the bed with her mother. After 10 seconds of silence, Momo spoke up. Mother, father. A friend of mine is having this trouble. She is having these feelings in her heart when she talks to or sees a certain person. Both the parents realized what she was talking about, and because Momo is very bad at lying, they figured out who her friend was. She's very confused about what those feelings are and came to me for help, but I never experienced those feelings, so I came to ask you about them. Can you please help my friend, she half screamed the last part. Well, her mother spoke up after thinking a little. From my experience, I can say that your friend has developed a crush on someone. Momo scooted closer to her mother and listened to her intently. Did she describe that whenever she is close to that person, she becomes happy and calm? Yes. Did she tell you that she cannot stop thinking about the person? She did, yes. Does she feel lonely when the person is away from her? Yes. Then, it's definitely a crush, her mother concluded. How could you be so sure? Well, because that's what I felt when I first met you, father. That's how I felt too. Her father commented from the couch. Then what should she do now? Well, just encourage her to talk with that person. And if things work out, they may even end up falling in love with each other, her mother said with sparkly eyes. Love. Yup, love, and if it is true love, they may even get married and start a family, her father explained with a smile. FFF family, Momo half shouted. Well, that's how our lives went, her mother continued. After another 10 seconds of silence, Momo got up and thanked her parents. Mother, father, thank you very much for the information. I will immediately send a message to my friend. She opened that door, but as she was about to leave, her mother said something that made her stop in her tracks. By any chance, is your friend's name Momo Yaoi Rozu? Her mother asked. She froze in the doorway and turned around, revealing a very red and flustered face. What? No, what are you talking about? Of course not. Anyway, I have school tomorrow, so good night. With it, a very red Momo Yaoi Rozu unintentionally slammed the door and went to her own room, covering her face with her hands. But her parents were happy. From her birth, Momo had everything and every quality a good human being should have. Honesty, humbleness, and many others. The only thing that she didn't have was something most of the children of the entire world did have. A normal childhood, and her parents blamed themselves for it. She never got to go to parks to play with her friends, she never went to summer camps with her friends, and the list goes on, all of this because of the constant threats of kidnapping and other threats that they received when Momo was a small child. But seeing that their daughter was experiencing things that a normal teenager should, made their heart swell with joy. Although, first they had to approve the person their daughter developed a crush on. Present time. Momo. Her mother called out to get the boy's attention. Izuku turned around and saw two people standing behind them, and seeing how they looked, he concluded that they were her parents. Momo, did you tell your friend about what we discussed yesterday night? Her mother asked, and Momo became instantly red. Yaoi Rozu, are you alright? You're very red. Izuku instinctively put his hand on her forehead, which made Momo even more flustered, thereby confirming that the boy in front was their daughter's crush. I'm fine, Momo stuttered. But your body temperature tells otherwise, are you sure that you're fine? Yup, and never better, she gave a smile. This made Izuku blush a little, much to the surprise of the older Yaoi Rozu. Whatever you say. And who are you, young man? Her father asked. Oh, I'm Izuku Yagi. I'm her classmate, Sir. Izuku offered his hand for handshake, and Mr. Yaoi Rozu gladly accepted it. He has manners, that's good. Are you here to pick up Momo? No, ma'am, I was here to check up on my hero costume since it is being modified. There, Izuku pointed towards the office building, adjacent to the hotel. The Night's Watch office. He was Schmidt student, Momo told her parents. You were? Yes, Schmidt was a very good mentor and the source of my inspiration of becoming a hero, Izuku said proudly. That means he is well educated, and if Schmidt taught the boy himself, he must be a good kid. Izuku also jumped in front of danger during the entrance exam to save another candidate from being crushed by a robot, Momo told her parents. And selfless too. Wait, Izuku. Izuku became red. Momo just realized that she called Izuku by his first name. She noticed the shit-eating grins on her parents' faces. Honey, do you approve? Mr. Yaoi Rozu asked. Yes, I do, Mrs. Yaoi Rozu answered. I don't want to be rude, but what are you appro? We're getting late. Izuku didn't get to finish his sentence, as Momo took his hand and dragged him into one of two limousines that had just arrived. Didn't you say that you would walk to school? Her father asked. Nope, we're getting late, she said as she began walking to the limo, still holding Izuku's hand. She likes blackberry ice cream very much, her mother shouted from outside as the limo was leaving. Izuku was confused as they still had time to walk to school, also, as to why would her mother tell him Momo's favorite ice cream flavor. He looked at Momo to see that she was red. Are you sure you're okay? Then never better. Whatever you say, but if you show any signs of illness in the school, I won't let you get out of the infirmary till the school gets over. Why is he caring for me? Why am I caring for her? They stared at each other for a few seconds before Momo gave Izuku another million-watt smile. Okay. This nearly made Izuku's heart explode, and he unconsciously activated raw solar energy throughout his entire body. His body glowed for a few seconds before the glow disappeared completely. Yagi, why were you glowing just then? I'm very sorry, your smile was too bright and it made me activate my quirk. Shouldn't have said that out loud. Izuku said and thought. I didn't mean to say that out loud. He looked at Momo to see she was looking at her hands with a small smile and light blush. This sight made his heart pound. She's so beautiful, Izuku blushed. Thank you. Why, you're welcome. The rest of the journey went without a single word uttered by either of them. The UA gate. The limousine stopped a few streets away from the gate. Momo was first to step out of the limo, followed by Izuku. As they were walking, Izuku noticed that his body felt unusually light. Then he tripped on a curb. Again, like the last time, he just accepted his fate and prepared for the pain. But it never came. Izuku's brain went into panic mode as he thought that he landed on Momo again. Great, now she'll think that I did it intentionally. Yagi. Izuku heard the voice very close to him. I'm so fucking dead. You're floating. See. Now she thinks I'm floating. Wait, what? Izuku opened his eyes to see that he was actually floating, with his body facing the ground. I'm floating. I'm floating. Are you alright? Momo asked with concern. I think so, but how did this happen? Izuku was entering a mutter session when Momo interrupted him. Wait, in the limo, you were glowing for a few seconds. Then he realized that he was using raw solar energy throughout his entire body. All I have to do is stop the flow, and I should come down. Thump. Izuku belly flopped onto the pavement. Good thing he was facing in front. He then quickly got up. He then hit another realization. The reason why he would lose his balance when he used RSE, raw solar energy, to do something was because it made his body lighter, but how it made his body lighter, he would figure it out later. They were walking towards the school when they noticed a bunch of people outside the gate. He used predator sense and saw that it was the media. They slowly went near them and listened to the media asking about All Might. Izuku didn't want to deal with that. Hey Yaoi Rozu, want to get into the school without dealing with the media? How? Give me your school bag. He took his and her bag and was holding them with his right hand, then he squatted down. Okay, now get on my back. Are you sure it's safe? Yup, all you have to do is hold on to me and everything will be fine, even if you fall, I'll catch you. Assured Izuku. The awkwardness between them nearly disappeared after just 2 days of talking. By the way, we're going directly to the entrance. She nodded. As soon as she got onto his back, Izuku realized that it was a bad idea. He was becoming more and more flustered as he felt the pillows on his back, as well as her breathing near his neck. On the other hand, Momo also became very red when she felt just how rugged and hard Izuku's muscles were. Good thing he or she cannot see my face. Already? Why yup. Izuku directed 60% to both of his legs and launched into the sky. Outside the gate, the reporters were being bored by Iida when they felt a shock wave, which was followed by a gust of wind. And although the shock wave and air was not so powerful, it got the attention of all the reporters. What was that? Hey. Look up in sky. What's that? Some type of a drone. Looks like a person to me. Is that All Might? The reporters, being distracted, gave Iida and the other students a chance to escape into the campus. A few minutes later, Aizawa reached the gate and tried to shoo the reporters away. A reporter was about to follow him but was stopped by UA's defense system. Nezu, All Might 13, and Eraserhead were discussing taking the students to the USJ while sitting in the school garden when they felt a small shock wave and light winds and saw something launch into the sky from the other side of the school wall. What is that? 13 pointed at the figure in the sky. It must be some type of a weapon, I must stop it before it lands on UA soil, All Might said while transforming. If it was a weapon or anything without a permit, it would have already been destroyed, Eraserhead said blandly. Did you feel the shock wave? Nezu asked the other teachers, and they all nodded. Then I know who he is. They put 2 and 2 together and realized who it was. The figure then slowly descended, then a gust of wind formed between the figure and the ground right before it made landfall. The dust cleared to reveal Izuku Yagi with Momo Yaoi Rozu on his back. Momo got off his back and was a little dizzy because of the acceleration. How the hell do you deal with the acceleration? Momo asked, a little dizzy. Practice, although you're pretty strong. The first time I used 120% to jump, I threw up in the sky. Momo laughed. Be still, my heart, Izuku begged. Yagi, mind explaining the grand entrance? Izuku turned around to see Eraserhead, Nezu, 13, and All Might. Good morning, teachers. Sorry about that, but the front gate is crowded with reporters. Reporters? Nezu asked. Yup, they were asking about All Might, Momo continued. Well then, head back to your classroom, Eraserhead said, and the students nodded. Aizawa, go and tell the reporters to leave, Nezu said. Okay. Class 1A, 17 minutes later. Decent work on yesterday's combat training, you guys. I saw the video feeds and went through each of your team's results. Aizawa turned to Bakugo. Bakugo, you're talented, so don't sulk like a child when you lose, okay? Yeah, whatever. Aoirozu, Yagi, I'm impressed by you two the most. Both of you formed plans and used brains rather than brawn to capture the villains and the weapon with no damage done to the building. You two may be unstoppable if teamed up together, he said in a bland tone of voice. Todoroki's result was also impressive, but one complaint that I have with his tactic is what if the villains had moved the bomb into a hospital with patients in it? Or if the building was structurally unstable? Izuku and Momo just looked at each other. Thank you, Sensei Momo, thank Aizawa. Now let's get to business. Our first task will decide your future. Almost everyone tensed up. Decide our future was their collective thought. You all need to pick a class representative. Oh good, just normal school stuff, nearly everyone thought as they let go of an audible sigh. Pick me guys, I wanna be class representative. The Redeed boy said, raising both of his hands. I'll take it. The electric blonde in the class raised his hand, followed by, yeah, you're gonna need me. The girl with purple hair said in an almost Aizawa-like tone. Someone with style is going to be better, Yuga said. I'm the right pick. I'm the right pick. The hyperactive Mina exclaimed. Hey, the others are no use, I'm your only choice, Bakugo shouted. This class is a butt-fumbled mess. Momo sweat dropped. This is such a clusterfuck, Izuku thought. So noisy, Tokoyami said to no one in particular. Silence everyone. Please. Iida shouted out loud, getting the attention of the class. The class representative's duty is to lead others, it's not something that anyone can just do, you must first have the trust of every student in the classroom. Therefore the most logical way to fill this position is to do it democratically. We will hold an election to choose our leader, Iida said, lifting his hand. It's pretty obvious you want us to vote for you, most of the students thought. Is that really the best idea? Kaminari asked. We've only known each other a few days, how do we know who we can trust, Sayu commented. Besides, everyone will vote for themselves, Kirishima stated. Most people will, but that means whoever receives multiple votes will be the most suitable for the job. It's the best way, right, Sir, Iida explained as he did the robot arm thing. Eraserhead was already inside his sleeping bag. Do what you want, just decide before my nap is over. With that, he dropped on the ground. After the voting was done and the results were shown on the board, Momo and Izuku got the most votes. With Izuku getting 4 votes and Momo getting 3 votes. Okay, you idiots, who voted for him? Bakugo shouted, looking like he was going to massacre an animal farm. What, did you honestly think that anyone was going to vote for you? What did you just say? Hey KKKKKZ 0 votes. I feared that this might happen, but I can't argue with the system that I chose. So you voted for someone else, huh? Momo inquired. But what we do is vote for ourselves, right? What were you trying to prove, Iida? Sato asked. Well, Iida, you should know that the world is not always sunshine and rainbows, and there are selfish people out there, Izuku said with a slight chuckle. But in truth, Izuku and Momo also voted for someone else. Alright, your class rep is Yagi, and the deputy is Yaoirozu, I don't why, but I had a feeling that it would be you two. This might not be so bad after all, Tsuyu commented, followed by Kirishima and Kaminari. Yeah, I can get by Yagi, he's inspirational, and also manly. Yaoirozu was in the top 3 during the assessment test, moreover they work really well together, as partners. This made both of them flustered, but they somehow managed to keep their composure. Lunch break. After taking his lunch from the eatery, Izuku searched for his classmates. Yagi, over here, Iida signaled him. Izuku went to the bench to find many Wana students sitting there and sat down next to Iida, opposite Momo. It's always so crowded here, Izuku said while looking around. That's because students from the hero, support and management courses all share the same cafeteria. This rice is delicious, Mina and Uraraka said in unison. To be honest, I'm a little nervous about being a class rep. I voted for someone else, Izuku admitted. I voted for someone else too, Momo said with a sigh. This surprised everyone else. You'll do alright. Both of you are cool-headed and can make plans in the heat of battle, not to mention the strength both of you demonstrate. Moreover, as Aizawa-sensei said earlier, both of you working together could be unstoppable. Iida explained. That's why myself and Kirishima agreed on voting for you, and Mina and Jiru voted for Yaoirozu. Then we discovered that Uraraka also voted for you. At first we thought that the final 2 votes were your own, but after you admitted that both of you voted for someone else, and seeing that everyone else had 1 vote, I speculate that both of you voted for each other. After a few moments of silence, Momo was the first one to admit. Yup, you caught me. Me too, Izuku raised his hands up. But Iida, didn't you want to be the rep? Momo asked. Wanting a job and being suited to it are quite different things. Serving the Iida family's hero agency has taught me that much. So much for trying to keep your family a secret. Iida Izuku's face is palmed. Agency? Hold on, what does your family do? Kirishima asked. Oh, it's nothing. You should have said to the travel agency. Momo was also face palmed. You know, I've been wondering something about you admitting it, Iida, you're filthy rich. Uraraka exclaimed. I was afraid that people would treat me differently if they know about my family. Stare. You see, the Iida family has been pro-heroes for generations, it runs in our blood. What? That's awesome. All the students sitting on the bench exclaimed, leaving out Izuku and Momo, as they knew about his family. Are you all familiar with the turbo hero Ingenium? Who the heck doesn't? He's one of the most popular heroes in all of Japan, with multiple sidekicks working alongside him. Mina exclaimed. Don't tell me. He's my elder brother, Tenya declared proudly, standing up. And, as the second oldest Iida son, I strive to be just like him. However, I think it's too soon for me to take any leadership. You on the other hand. Breeing. What is that? Everyone was startled. Level 3 security breach, level 3 security breach. Please evacuate the building in an orderly fashion. What's a level 3 security breach? Iida asked a senior student. It means someone's managed to get past the school's barriers. It hasn't happened in my 3 years here, we should get going. Then there was absolute chaos, the hallway of the cafeteria crowded. It was a total mob. Izuku had been separated from his friends. He was pushed into the glass window from where could see many people had entered the campus. He activated Eagle Vision and saw that they were the same reporters from before and also saw Eraserhead and Present Mick dealing with the problem. Everyone was panicking, and if someone didn't do anything to calm the students fast, many of them could get hurt. I need to get higher. He then remembered the incident that took place in the morning. That's it. Izuku activated RSE throughout his entire body. He lit up for a few seconds before the glow died down completely, and immediately Izuku felt lighter. He grabbed hold of a nearby fire extinguisher and propelled himself upwards. Alright everyone, the school is not being attacked, it's just the media, Izuku shouted, but because of the ringing bell and the noisy students, he was not heard. I need a megaphone or something. Wait, Yaoi Rozu. Izuku used a predator sense and began looking for Momo. After a few seconds he noticed her trademark spiked ponytail. Izuku pushed himself along the wall to reach her. Momo, take my hand. Both of them didn't notice that Izuku called her by her first name. Momo looked up to see Izuku floating above her. She quickly took his hand and Izuku pulled up and was holding her bridal style. Who's attacking the campus? Nobody in the media somehow managed to break through the barriers. Mick and Eraserhead are taking care of them, but right now we need to stop the stampede or someone will get hurt. I tried shouting, but they weren't able to hear me. Momo knew what he was about to say next, so she unbuttoned the lower buttons of her shirt and a pink glow emitted from her stomach. Seconds later, she had a megaphone in her hand. Carrying me to the front, Izuku nodded and propelled himself in front with the help of the wall. Everyone, listen. Nobody is attacking the school. Everyone looked up to see a floating student carrying another student with a megaphone. The media somehow managed to find a way through the school barriers. The teachers are already taking care of the problem. We are UA students, we need to remain calm and show that we are the best of the best. Kirishima and Iida looked at each other before sighing. We made the right choice. Final period. During the lunch break, the media somehow got into UA grounds. There was mass panic in the lunchroom and the students were moving like a mob. Principal Nezu announced using the speaker system. If it weren't for the cool-headedness of Class 1A's newly appointed rep and vice rep's actions, many students would have been hurt. It's my request that all the students take cues from them on how to act during disasters. Class 1A. Izuku and Momo were standing in front of the class as they cheered for their actions. Eraserhead then arose from the dead. Midnight and Mick also entered the room. Well, I guess your class made the right choice when they chose you two to lead them. It's your first day as the representatives of 1A and you are already famous. Keep up the good work. Did Izawa just compliment his students? Mick asked in astonishment. I guess he did, Midnight replied. We took the responsibility, we won't fail them, no matter what, Momo declared. Izawa smiled at that, yes, smiled. This shocked Mick and Midnight even more. Anyway, I should remind you that you must bring your hero costumes tomorrow. Now go home and let me sleep. So, Yagi, where will you be going today? I think, first I'll go to check on my suit, then I'll buy some groceries and go home. Do you live alone? Yup. And your parents? I left them. Izuku's face became sad. Momo knew she shouldn't pry in a person's family problems, so she said something that touched Izuku's heart. Well, I won't pry, but all I'm going to say is I'm here for you. This sentence alone made Izuku the happiest person in the world. This time it was Izuku's turn to give a million-watt smile. This made Momo's heart pound out of her chest, and she unconsciously began making gold and green-colored Russian dolls. Yaoi Rozu. She then noticed what she was making and immediately stopped. They were walking towards the city center when Izuku saw an ice cream store. He told Momo to wait and he went and bought 2 ice creams, one with a cookie flavor, the other with blackberry flavor. "Take this, your favorite flavor," Izuku then offered the blackberry flavored one to Momo. She grabbed it and began eating it while blushing a little. And both of them felt happy. They soon reached their respective destinations and went their separate ways. And we were feeling lonely. Next EAYA and I altered the days a little. Izuku went to the office to get his suit back and was excited to try out these new upgrades. To his disappointment, Momo was not there today. Class 1A. "Everyone get suited up and meet me at the car park. We're going on a field trip for training and you'll be training with me and 2 other pros." "Sir, what kind of training?" Zero asked. Izawa then took out a card from this pocket with rescue written on it. Everyone was excited. "You'll be dealing with natural disasters, shipwrecks, wildfires, and things of those nature." "You heard the man. Everyone, let's go," Momo called out. They got changed to their hero costume and went to the car park and were waiting for the bus. "Yagi." Momo called out to him. "Hey Yaoi Rozu. So what upgrades did you get for your suit?" "Most of them are just information on heart rate and things like that, but there is however, one major upgrade. I'll show you." Izuku then tapped the activate shield on his left gauntlet. He then directed RSE to his right arm and within milliseconds, a shield unfolded from his gauntlet. "Whoa, that's an amazing man," Kaminari exclaimed. "Was that magic?" Mineta asked. "It's a foldable shield," Izuku replied. Momo was about to say something but was interrupted by the bus arriving. "Alright everyone, get into the bus." Everyone else went in and just when Izuku was about to enter, he was stopped by Izawa. "Not you, Yagi. You'll first have to attend the rep orientation ceremony, where you'll get to know all the senior reps. Yaoi Rozu will have her own deputy rep meeting on Monday. The ceremony should take about 30 to 45 minutes, after which the principal will tell you where to go." "Roger." At the USJ. "Hello everyone, I've been waiting for you." Almost all the students looked in awe. "It's 13, the space hero," Uraraka exclaimed. "Whoa. She's saved a lot of people around the entire world and also in space," Momo said. "She's one of my favorite heroes." "Mine too," Uraraka said excitedly. "I can't wait to show you what's inside. This is gonna be awesome," they said in unison. "Holy crap, this looks like some type of an amusement park. A shipwreck, a landslide, a fire, a windstorm, etc. I created this training facility to prepare you for dealing with every type of disaster. I call it the Unforeseen Simulation Jointer, the USJ. Just like Universal Studios Japan." The students thought in unison. "Hey, isn't All Might supposed to be here already? Let me guess, he booked an interview," Izawa asked 13. Actually, the principal made a small change to the schedule. He asked him to take the heroics class for 1B in the morning so that could spend the rest of the day here. "It's 10:30 right now, he should be here by 11:30. 13 was about to say something when the lights began to flicker. Then a purplish mist began to appear near the fountain. Both Izawa and 13 felt something was about to go very wrong. Out of the mist, a man covered with hands walked out, followed by a hulking creature with a bird-like face. Then more and more villains began to appear. "Stick together and don't move. 13, protect the students." Yaoi Rozu immediately understood what the situation was. "Did the training start already? What is that thing? Are those the people we have to save?" Kirishima was walking in front but was stopped by a steel staff. "You heard Izawa-sensei, everyone stuck together," Momo commanded sternly. "And those aren't people we have to save, they're villains," she said. Most of the students were scared after hearing those words. They looked at those villains and pure evil looked back. That would be the day they realized what the pros faced to keep them safe. The class then saw Izawa wearing his eye protection. "Where is he? I've brought so many friends to play with him." The handman spoke. "All Might, the great symbol of peace, I can't believe he's not here. Maybe if I kill a few kids he will come out to play." "Kaminari, use your quirk and call for backup from the school." "I can't, someone is using a jammer or a jammer quirk." Izawa cursed under his breath. 13, get everyone out and warn the main campus, I'll deal with the villains. And he jumped into the horde of villains in the central plaza. "Alright students, let's go." As they were about to leave, the purple mist blocked the doorway. "I'm afraid I can't let you do that, not until the symbol of peace arrives." 13 then began using her quirk, but that quickly backfired when the mist villain created a warp gate behind her, using her quirk to damage her own body. Momo quickly made bandages and gave them to Mina to help 13. She was desperately trying to figure out a plan to send help outside. Then Kirishima and Bakugo attacked the mist villain and it teleported everyone to different parts of the map. She was also being teleported and the last thing she said was for the remaining students to help get Iida out of the USJ. Momo dropped with a thud when she fell out of the warp gate. She then saw Jiro being surrounded by villains. Dead away from her mom with a battle cry charged towards the villains, she made steel rods and began fighting the villains alongside Jiro. I hope Iida made it out. Students were fighting for their lives in different areas of the USJ. In the central plaza, Aizawa was fighting the bulk of the villains and taking them out with ease. You know what really sucks? It's when the pros live up to their hype. Nomu, take him out. In an instant, the Nomu reached Aizawa. It grabbed him and began to break his body, bone by bone. Aizawa tried to erase its quirk, but in vain. The villains then saw that the water of the shipwreck zone was electrified. Aizawa by now had lost consciousness due to the pain. Then the mist villain appeared next to the handman and told that one of the students managed to get out. If you weren't our way out of this place, I would have destroyed you, atom by atom. Let's go back. It's game over. But before we leave. He turned towards the 3 students that were hiding in the water. Let's make sure that the symbol of peace is broken. In an instant Nomu had reached the water side, followed by Tamura. They reached towards the students' heads when. Plunk. The doors of the facility opened with so much force that they were knocked out of their hinges and were dented even though they were titanium. The students knew he was powerful. But they didn't know what his full strength was, nor did they know what he was capable of, but once they saw the glowing the students present near the entrance, and the ones that could see him, were filled with something they lost for what seemed like an eternity hope. Momo after seeing who it was chuckled. Only she knew how strong Izuku was, as he told her. Finally. Good thing that the stupid ceremony ended early and I met Iida on the way. And now you regret invading my school, he said with so much coldness that it made chills run down the villain's spine. Within 7 seconds, the person retrieved Aizawa, Kaminari, Mineta and Tsuyu and brought them back on top of the stairs. How was the only thing Mineta was able to say. And who might you be? Tamura asked, clearly in a little shock. My name doesn't matter, but I will make you pay for what you've done. But Bakugo and Kirishima. Those bastards managed to get Eraserhead, Bakugo said with rage. Wait, where are they going now? Kirishima asked when he saw the handman and Birdhead go towards the shipwreck zone. Both of them saw who they were going for. That's Kaminari. Mineta and Tsuyu are there too. Oh no, Kirishima said with fear. Well, Bakugo looked at the villains with anger. But Todoroki. The villains managed to get Aizawa, they're serious about killing All Might, Todoroki thought. He then saw the ringleaders going towards the pool and caught sight of blonde hair. I need to get there quick, he thought. I'm gonna kill them, Bakugo said in a dark tone. Both Todoroki and Bakugo were about to charge the villains when. Plunk. What was that? Kirishima said. And although they were in different parts of the facility, they turned their attention to the stairs. Good thing that the stupid ceremony ended early and I met Iida on the way. And now you'll pay for invading my school. Bakugo, Kirishima, Todoroki and the students on top of the stairs blinked and he was gone. All of them looked where Aizawa was and saw that he was no longer there on the ground. Even the students in the pool were not there anymore. 13 and the students on top of the stairs were startled when they felt a gust of air and Izuku appeared out of nowhere with Aizawa, Mineta, Kaminari and Tsuyu over his shoulder. Take care of Aizawa-sensei. You saved us. Mineta said crying. We. Kaminari gave 2 thumbs up. Thanks Yagi, Tsuyu said. Where are the others? One of the villains warped them to different parts of the facility. At first I thought they were gone for good, but I used my quirk and figured out that they have been teleported to different parts. Shoji answered. Where is Yaoi Rozu? Izuku asked. He was worried for her the most. She's in the landslide zone with Jiro. And who might you be? The hangman called out from below. My name doesn't matter, but I will make you pay for what you've done. Izuku was pissed when Iida told him that villains attacked the USJ, but after seeing the condition of the teachers, he was angry. He's just another kid, one of the villains announced. 30% to legs, 20% to arms, 20% to head. Let's just kill him of. The villain didn't get to finish his sentence when Izuku turned into a blur, reached the villain's position, uppercut him, and broke his jaw. The villain was launched a few feet back. Trust me, I'm not just another kid, Izuku said standing in front of the villains. What the hell? Before they could react, Izuku began punching the shit out of them. Some villains panicked and wanted to run, but were unable to, as the gold blur managed to catch them and beat them to a pulp. Others tried to fight back, but it was useless. You're gonna get it, boy, a villain with 4 arms shouted. He tried to hit Izuku, but missed again and again until Izuku punched him into next week. All of you with ranged attacks, get him. A villain said as she was activating her hair quirk. She managed to get one hit in before Izuku grabbed her hair, spun her around, and threw her at a group of villains. I got him. A villain with a gun quirk shouted. Izuku immediately activated his shield and managed to block every shot and also arrows from someone else. The villains used every type of quirk they had, but all of them were useless against him, as he countered all of them using his superior speed, strength, and reflexes. They were getting desperate to stop the boy. And within 40 seconds, all the villains in the central plaza with the exception of Nomu, Tamura, and Kurogiri were lying on the ground, unable to move because of the beatdown. From the top of the stairs, the students were amazed at how fast Izuku moved, and he was just a golden blur, and they could feel light shock waves when he attacked someone. Holy shit. Just how strong is he? Shiro asked astonished. You go get them, Yagi, Mineta, Uraraka, and Mina shouted in unison. Shoji was grinning with all of his hands' mouths. They were filled with hope. Even Todoroki and Bakugo were wide-eyed and awed at how fast Izuku took out the villains. Deku? Yagi? Momo only got a glimpse of him, but after hearing what he said shouted from the top of the stairs, she knew that everything would be fine. Even though she didn't see the fight, she felt the shock waves. Then she smiled. I guess I fell for a true hero. With Izuku, Central Plaza. Situation. All the villains are down, leaving out those three. It seems like the others were all untrained. The bird thing seems to be the strongest, so that's my top priority. I must take it out in one hit. Then heal myself if necessary, Izuku observed. Izuku leapt towards the bird villain. Jupiter impact. The air pressure and recoil shock wave generated was felt by everyone in the building. He prepared for the pain, but there was none. And the villain was still standing, unfazed by the attack. The hell, it survived a Jupiter impact. Izuku readied his fist to punch the villain, but this time he channeled everything he had to his right arm. Solar impact. The shock wave and force of air was even more powerful than the last, and the villains who were trying to get up faced its full force and were thrown in the other direction. Again there was no pain, but the villain was just standing there. What the heck is this thing? Izuku shouted. Meet Nomu, the genetically engineered anti-symbol of peace. Shock absorbing is just one of his specialities. He wouldn't die even if you fed him a grenade. As for me, I'm Tamura Shigaraki, All Might's #1 hater. The grey blue-haired guy with hands introduced himself, and the monster. One of his specialities. Nomu, kill him. The Nomu's eyeballs moved inhumanely and focused on Izuku. He didn't get time to react as he was backhanded across the chest and thrown at the fountain. Izuku got up while looking at his left gauntlet and realized that 3 of his ribs were broken and his right lung was damaged. Then heard earth-shaking footsteps coming towards him. Izuku didn't bother to look up, instead he immediately activated his shield and then directed 50% energy and rose to his right arm. Nanoseconds later it was hit by the Nomu, and although it managed block the attack, a few more hits like that will destroy the shield, and it did. Izuku directed 25% to both of his legs and somehow managed to stand up through the barrage of hits from Nomu. He finally looked up and saw that the shield had cracks. 2 hits later, the outer part of the shield shattered into 1,000 pieces, leaving out only a small plate-sized part in the center. Izuku immediately launched himself away from the path of another one of Nomu's attacks. Nomu was about to charge him, but out of nowhere, the ground turned to ice, and along with it, Nomu's legs, arms, and lower torso. Izuku turned to see Todoroki. One of your poorly trained thugs told me you're here because you think you can defeat All Might. The symbol of peace will not be defeated by delinquents like you, Todoroki said in a monotone, but angered tone. All of a sudden, the purple mist was surrounding them. It was about to engulf Izuku and Todoroki when. Boom. Bakugo and Kirishima attacked from the rear. Bakugo grabbed a hold of the mist villain's collar and pinned him to the ground, and Kirishima managed to hit Tamura on the head, making the hand on his face detach, which Tamura quickly picked up and put it back on, while muttering something about sensei. "Can't let you have all the glory, you useless trash." Bakugo said with both anger and glee in his voice. "Yes, I found your body that time, you smoky bastard." The entrance. Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima are all helping, Uraraka said with teary eyes. Don't worry, All Might will take care of this as soon as he reaches. When the other teachers get here, it'll be dangerous. Find some place to hide, 13 said, biting through pain. Even though she was well bandaged up, she was far from good, so was Izawa. Okay, Mina replied. Central Plaza. Kurogiri, how can you let this brat get the best of you? Tamura asked calmly. You've gotten us into a real jam here. You got careless, you dumb fuck. Bakugo said with an evil grin. It wasn't hard to figure you out. Only certain parts of you turn into that smoky warp gate. You use that mist to hide your actual body as a kind of distraction, thinking that makes you safe. That's why we missed it. But if you didn't have a body, you wouldn't have to wear this neck armor, right? You're not immune to physical attacks if well aimed. Kurogiri tried to move, but stopped when Bakugo made small explosions on the neck armor. Don't move, try anything funny, and I'll blow your ass up so bad that they'll be piecing you back together for weeks, Bakugo said with sinister glee. Whoa there, that doesn't sound very heroic, Kirishima added. They escaped uninjured and captured 2 of my strongest men, and that boy took down 100 of my men in under a minute and even saved his teacher and friends in seconds. Kids these days really are amazing, Tamura half whispered. They make the League of Villains look like amateurs can't have that. Nomu. The moment Tamura said the name, the monster's eyeballs turned in an abnormal way before focusing on the 4 students. Then, much to the shock of everyone, it started moving. How is this thing still moving? He's all messed up, Izuku said. Nomu then fell and shattered the ice along with most of his body. And even though it was just a torso and a head, it kept on moving. Then the unexpected happened. It grew its limbs back, all 4 of them. What is this? Izuku questioned. I thought you said its specialty was shock absorption. Didn't I say specialities? He also has super regeneration, along with super speed and strength. Tamura answered. He's basically a highly efficient punching bag that hits first. We need to free our method of escape. Get him, Nom. Izuku knew what Tamura meant even before he finished commanding Nomu. Since SS was already active, he directed 50% to both of his legs and 20% to his head. Izuku got a head start and reached Bakugo's position. He pushed Bakugo out of the way, but before he himself was able to move away, Nomu had already reached his position and had readied its fist. So Izuku used whatever was left of his shield and positioned it so as to block the hit, and although it did block the hit, he was thrown into a divider wall. The air generated by the force of punch threw the other boys a few feet away. Bakugo! Kirishima shouted, then noticed that Bakugo was next to him and Todoroki. Whoa, you dodged that, Kirishima asked. Shut up. Where's Yagi? Todoroki asked with a hint of concern. He was here a second ago, Kirishima answered. Then they looked towards the wall and saw Izuku sitting against the wall. Yagi took the hit for you, Todoroki said with wide eyes. He kept his word like a real man. Deku? But the students in the entrance. Did Yagi just put himself in danger to save Bakugo? Sato asked. Yes, he did, Uraraka answered. Of course, did all of you forget what he said on the first day of school? Flashback. There were rescue points being awarded for well rescuing people, that's why you got 80 extra points. Recovery girl told us after you left, Ida informed. What? I seriously had no idea. I did everything out of impulse. That means you risked yourself to save someone. Yes, and I would do it again, no matter what. But Izuku. Izuku checked his gauntlet and saw his back was also a little broken along with 2 more ribs. His left lung was damaged too, but not as much as his right, which was basically ruptured. Izuku wanted to heal himself because of the pain, but chose instead to conserve his stamina to fight for his friends. Izuku wanted to scream and cry because of how much his body hurt. He wasn't even able to breathe properly. And after a long time, he felt fear, not the fear of his death, but the fear of what will happen to his classmates if he is not able to hold the villains off until the teachers arrive. But he wouldn't show his pain or his fear because if he did, his classmates would lose hope, and that's the last thing he wanted. No, he wouldn't allow them to see it, especially Momo, even if it kills him. And right now, Izuku needed time and a plan, so he did the only thing he could and activated super time. Think, Izuku, think regeneration quirks, advanced biology, weaknesses, that's it. All I need to do is keep it occupied until Kirishima comes back. Also, Deception 101. Make your enemies think that you're more powerful than you actually are. I hope to God that it works. Are you really going to go that far to save your friend? Tamura asked Izuku, but he got no reply. Izuku tapped on the use solar charge option and saw that the timer said 3 minutes of extra endurance. Immediately Izuku felt a boost of power. He then typed a note on his gauntlet and removed the gauntlet. Izuku got up but was looking down. Kirishima, catch, Izuku said as he threw his gauntlet at Kirishima. Run and give the gauntlet to Yaoi Rozu. She's at the mountain's own, Izuku said in an unsettling calmness. Kirishima was about to protest. You chose me as your class rep, Kirishima, please just trust me. And don't worry about anything happening to me. Izuku said in a cold tone as he glared at Tamura so hard that it made the hair at the back of his neck stand up. I'm done holding back. This sentence alone made the 3 students, as well as Tamura and Kurogiri, stare at him. He was holding back this entire time. Now go. But that Kirishima began to run towards the mountain's own. If you want to get to any of my classmates, you'll have to go through me first. Izuku said. 20% to head, 100% to arm. I have to oscillate the 100% between my arms to make it look like both of my arms has 100%, the mental block should keep my arms safe. Come at me. Nomu, kill him. The Nomu came charging in, readying its left fist to hit Izuku. Izuku directed 100% to his right arm. As soon as their fists closed, massive winds were generated. Izuku didn't waste time, as he immediately directed the 100% to his left arm and uppercut Nomu. Nomu raised his right arm to punch Izuku, and he immediately countered it by directing the 100% to his right arm again. After which he immediately directed the power to his left arm and delivered another uppercut. This kept on going for a while when their speed increased, and because of Izuku's planned uppercuts and Nomu's inability to counter them because of their lack of intelligence, Izuku was able to overpower Nomu and make him fall backwards. Shit, I can't keep doing this much longer, where are you, Kirishima? Nomu quickly got up from the ground and they traded another 7 or so blows, after which the Nomu was once again on the ground but not defeated or weakened. By now everyone was holding on to something to not be blown away by the wind. I can't go on for much longer, my vision is becoming darker, I need to stall the villains. Is this the thing that was supposed to kill All Might? It's so disappointing. Pathetic, it can't even kill a 15-year-old, Izuku taunted. By this point, Tamura was beyond mad and scratching the hell out of his neck. No, not possible. Nomu is more powerful than All Might, it is 100%, to which Izuku simply replied. Then maybe I'm more powerful than All Might, it is 100%. This sentence was a lie, but it shocked Todoroki and Bakugo, his rivals, who were holding on to the broken fountain. You should probably give up and surrender, loser. The pros are about to reach the place, Izuku said. I don't care, I'll kill you, I'll fucking kill you if it's the last thing I do. Tamura was throwing a full-blown tantrum at this point. Nomu, kill him with that, Nomu began charging towards him. What a waste of time, Izuku said with disinterest. But the reality was something else entirely. Fuck, okay, I need to use its own momentum against it. Izuku directed 40% to both of his arms and 40% to his head. As Nomu was about to punch him, Izuku sidestepped, grabbed Nomu's arm, spun him, and sent him flying. Nomu gets up and kill him. Tamura shouted with rage. The monster was getting up to charge Izuku again. I can't hold on for much longer. I'm sorry I failed all of you. I'm sorry, Momo. Then he saw Kirishima running towards him and he had exactly what Izuku needed. Here, take these, Yaoi Rozu made them. As fast as she could, Kirishima handed Izuku the 7 grenades, one of which was a smoke grenade. Izuku threw the smoke grenade where Nomu was. He then took the remaining grenades and used all the strength he had to run into the smoke. Using his eagle vision, he was able to see where Nomu was. Izuku then jumped onto its shoulder and began pulling the pins off of the grenades and began force feeding them to Nomu. Then he jumped off of Nomu and out of the smoke. What did you do? I just fed it a couple of grenades. Didn't you listen to what I said earlier? He will be totally unaffected even if you feed him a grenade. Tamura questioned with glee and wickedness. Yes, you did, but these aren't normal grenades. I've read about regeneration quirks. There may be different types of them, but they all have one weakness. When the cells are burned using very high temperatures, they get carbonized, and carbonized cells cannot regenerate, no matter how strong the regeneration quirk is. So I fed it thermite grenades. They burn with a max temperature of 4000 degrees Fahrenheit, easily enough to carbonize cells. Izuku replied. A few seconds later, the Nomu began to scream in agony with smoke coming out of its mouth. And moments later, it fell on the ground unmoving, dead. Izuku quickly healed himself and now reached his limit only a few seconds before he would lose consciousness. I'll murder you. Tamura shouted. He was about to charge at Izuku but was warped out by Kurogiri. No, Tamura, our All Might killer is dead. And we'll be too if All Might arrives now. Kurogiri said, and they disappeared. I'd like to see you try. Izuku said to no one and passed out. The last he heard was Momo shouting his name. Thanks for watching my video and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then, sayonara.